Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. It's the Friday Ascension update, and I am here with my good friend and brother in the light, David Essery. Good morning, David.
Morning, Tim, and hello, you beautiful people. What a joy it is to be back with you again this morning, and happy kind of solstice eve, shall we say. The
Yeah,
energy
happy
is flowing.
pre-solstice.
Yeah,
It is. It is most definitely flowing. And as you can see, neither David and I are outside this morning because we're actually we're behind our computers early today, aren't we? So
we are.
it's a little bit dark for playing around in the woods. So
That's it. And stable internet connections and all that. We attempt to do,
absolutely.
yes. So, yeah, we thought we'd get together this morning just to chat a little bit about the solstice and about what's happening this year and the incredible energy that we're in this year. Like, how have you been feeling the energy so far this year? For me, it's been quite different.
Yeah, I mean the it feels a little bit, David, like this whole everything's caught me by surprise. This is
Yeah.
we're it's the day before the solstice. It's solstice eve. We're in the final month of the year, and it feels like it has suddenly happened, and in such a short and almost explosive like space of time that I'm almost checking myself like, am I prepared? Like, have I
Yeah.
got everything? Like, what are we doing here? Sort of thing. It's really intense, but it's not unmanageable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, and this video perfectly illustrates that because Tim and I would normally do a video a month or so before the solstice to chat about it and to prepare and things like that. And we're here the day before, and just because time has just been absolutely flying, that it
Mm.
just hasn't happened until now. And yeah, I completely agree. I can't believe it is December 20th today. How did that happen? It was the June solstice like 3 days ago, wasn't it? Like, honestly,
5 minutes ago,
yeah, yeah, it
literally
was.
5 minutes ago.
I don't
Do you
know
know what
how.
I think? I personally think all of our processes have been so intense. If you look at what Spirit has been asking us to do, we've been asked to change how we live with ourselves,
Hmm.
to focus inwards, to become more loving of ourselves, loving of our process, less engaged with the what I call the clown show out there. The mitherings of the third dimension, which are just quite unbelievable in the kind of the scope and the gravity of the things that are being presented to us, to the point where if you are anchored and tuned into what you are moving through, you realize it is simply a collective reflection. Everything that's going on out there is basically we've all dug in and brought our shadows up. That's what this year has all been about. It's almost like the peak finale of how many shadows can you put into the show and have streaming simultaneously. And, what does it look like? It's a great grand experiment of
Yeah.
everybody's collective stuff coming up to be witnessed, which is why we have been so much more focused on our own process, looking within and taking less notice maybe of what's going on out there. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are very kind of like they're very kind of engrossed in what's happening, maybe getting angry, maybe getting a bit scared. That's natural. That's part of the process. We've
For
got to
sure.
learn to kind of get back inwards again afterwards. But that's my theory on it anyway.
I think that I completely agree with you. Just as you were speaking there, what popped into my mind was what Melchizedek said. I believe it was the Lionsgate. He said that we're witnessing 8 billion worlds colliding, because we each have our own world, our own like sphere of reality that's based on our thought processes and patterns and our experiences, and we all have a different expectation of what the world is going to be. And all of those, particularly at that time, were coming to a head, crashing together. I mean, you know what it's like when you're in a room with 10 people all talking at the same time. It gets very, very loud. We're in a world with 8 billion people manifesting reality like that at the moment, because of the speed at which we are creating our world right now is unbelievable. And that's not just us. That's not, oh, we're awakened, we can create the world really, really quickly. No, that's the energy on this planet is so high right now. Everyone is creating quickly. Everybody.
Abs Absolutely. No, you've described that perfectly, David. It's when you understand, or when you start to look at things from an out like a higher perspective, when you kind of understand how the mechanics of energy actually work, and that when you are witnessing, so I mean, we live in the UK. You couldn't get a bigger bag of nonsense than what's going on in the UK at the moment, just on
I
a
don't know,
on a
there's a lot of
kind of,
nonsense out there right now.
oh, like we're the cream of the crop at the moment, apart from maybe Canada. And if you look at how the collective kind of like matrix structure is acting or attempting to act, you realize that this is because the belief systems of so many people have kind of like they've all come out of the shadows. It's all come up, and these people are simply the show that has been presented in order to kind of show us where all of these shadows are. And it's simply a case of, right, well, how if you don't like something, if you are resisting it, if you are angry with it, if you're throwing petrol and fuel and angry words and vitriol at something, what does it do? It like on the
Yeah.
level of like how energy interacts, it continues to get bigger. It's asking to be fed, which has been the whole theme all along, that we don't feed the flames, we don't feed the fire, we don't feed the picture. We alchemize it with love. And this is where the technicalities of what seems so incredibly complicated become very easy. But you've got to be right on the ball and right on the point with that.
Mm. And this is probably exacerbated right now more than ever because of the work that we as a collective did last month with the collapsing of the
Yeah.
third dimension.
Mm.
Tim's you so perfectly chose the words there. What the energy that is fueling this system. Well, they had for 10,000 years this tremendous fuel source that was empowering everything that they did in the field around our planet, which is literally the last dregs of are disappearing as we speak. And now they've got to throw more fuel on it. They're trying to find more energy to throw at everything. It's not
Mm.
going to stop them from trying to play their games, but they're looking for more energy to throw into it. And it's not going to work, because without that, because of the shifts that we had at the Lionsgate with the mass awakenings, people are starting to think more and more for themselves. And without the energetic support that that system had, it
Mm.
doesn't really have the power that it used to have. And it's just a matter of time. And, that really brings us into this solstice, because the messages I've been getting for everyone over and over again is that this solstice is happening at a frequency that has
Mm.
not been for thousands and thousands of years. They keep on saying to me the shackles are off, because it's like
Yeah.
we've been handicapped by the energy. We have been pushing like the density has been pushing back against us with all the work that we've done every solstice, for a very long period, particularly the work that we've been doing over the last 12 years as a group to
Mm.
try and move this planet forward has always been pushed back against with this density, which is no longer there. Which means, the 10 miles an hour that we were driving with the brakes on, we can now do 80. because
Mm.
we're just flowing, and we can really see some rapid progression. And that's what we're seeing in the energies of this solstice, and I think that's why we are perceiving time moving so quickly, because it's flowing so fast. And I don't know about you, Tim. I don't know about you guys. Let us know in the comments. But for me personally, I haven't felt the intensity of this solstice. Normally, December rolls around and my body's doing this, and the situations have been chaos, and I've been driven, and I was like, oh God. And I love the solstice. It's like my favourite time of the year. I look forward to them. I look forward to working with Tim. I look forward to connecting with you beautiful people. I absolutely love it. But there's always a part of me that can't wait for it to be over. just for, just for things to settle down again. And for me personally, I'm not feeling that this year. It feels different. It feels lighter. And that is, I think, a sign of the times of where we are and how far we've come. And we've done that.
Mm.
That's a result of the work that we as a collective have done to get us here. I've been tuning into the energies that we can expect for 2025. And Sanat Kamara said to me the other day, he can't tell us exactly what's going to happen in 2025, because we have free will. It's up to us. He's given me some information, like some ideas about what the energy is going to be doing to support us and the general theme of things. But they can't tell us where we are going to be next December solstice. They can't say, oh yeah, you're going to have discovered this technology and this is going to shift within your government and all of these different things, because it's not up to them, it's up to us. We have free will. This is a human process. They're not to say this to discredit what they're doing, because they have a huge hand in this, and they are
Mm.
creating circumstance for us to take steps forward, to take action. But what we do with that circumstance is up to us, and the outcome of that is up to us.
Very well put. And there's a couple of points I'd just like to kind of pick up on
Mm,
there, David, as well. It's first of all, with the way that we're all maybe feeling, as particularly, I mean, I know for a fact if you're feeling a certain way and I'm feeling a certain way, David, that the
yeah,
majority of people will be experiencing energy in a similar fashion. The light that came in on the 12th at the opening of the portal was when it came in, I was just like, what is this? It came in at such a frequency that I was immediately told that, and I've experienced this before over the years, and I'm sure many of you tuning in will have as well. When something comes in at such a elevated frequency, we have to adjust in order to
mm,
perceive that. And initially, it can feel a little bit like, what is that? And when we start, and I know for a fact that there are a lot of people, and I've myself included in this, that have had a distinctive period of, like flu, light upgrade, density drops, physical illness in order to become able, acclimatized to this new energy. One of the things as we've become very used to over the years, and this kind of comes into the category of ascension symptoms, is that when something comes in that we have agreed to adjust to, or we basically we're living on this planet now,
mm,
we've agreed to move through these gateways and into this higher frequency. When this light comes in, we're obliged to adjust to it. That's what we do. We've called it in, we've agreed to it. We're setting out the roadmap for our golden future with it. So naturally, we need to be completely part of that. There can't be any aspects of us that aren't compatible with it. So a lot of us have had to drop density very quickly, and that's been
yeah,
extremely uncomfortable. I know, it happens every year at this time, doesn't it? It's got a lot to do with the way that we treat ourselves, a lot of, stress, physical factors, but you can't like shy away from the fact that when that light comes in, and it comes in a huge quantity, that we have to physically shift ourselves in order to be compatible with it.
yeah,
So when that gateway opened on the 12th, it was a real like, whoa, I can see it, I can feel it, but I'm not completely in tune with this yet. I have to now make adjustments. And again, this has detracted away from being distracted by the outside world. Like what's the outside world doing? Doesn't matter. I've
No.
got to adjust. I've got to acclimatize. I've got to move through this. And we've had a year of this now where the energy bandwidth has just been consistently just getting higher and higher and higher. There hasn't been any peaks and troughs like there used to be, which has also caught many of us unawares. But the most interesting point that you made there, David, and I think this is also very important, is the fact that the matrix has no more fuel. Okay,
Yeah.
its fuel sources have been completely cut off, and the only fuel that it has can be gained from human beings and where their attention is flowing,
So true.
which is why it's become so incredibly important for us to be absolutely on point. Like all of the doom scrolling kind of, that's happening, this is happening. Oh, should I be worried? Survival buttons pressed. That's our responsibility to not get involved with that. Seeing that negative message that's going to wind everybody up and like putting it on Facebook so that everybody else can get wound up about it as well. That becomes our karmic responsibility as deliverer of that message. And thereby that provides fuel for the density. That's what they're looking for. It's the last vestiges of the magic that they have left in order to they have to garner our attention and our permission for that energy exchange in order to use it. And the more of us that are focused on what we are achieving on a high frequency level, the less that occurs. And it's becoming to the point where their grain store is now dry,
Yeah.
which is sorry, but it is a little bit satisfying to watch, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think that's fair enough. We worked so hard towards this for
Yeah,
so long. That shift last month was momentous. That's
yeah,
one of the most important things that have happened on this planet for 10,000 years. And that
it
sounds, when
is.
you say that, that sounds big and epic, but you know what? That's because it is.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing that we've just experienced. You know, just to your point there, Tim, one of the things that I always come back to, and this I read this when Tim and I were preparing for a workshop series years and years ago called The Beloved Archangels Speak. It's still one of the
Mm.
loveliest things I think that I've ever done. That Tim and I facilitated that series, and it was based on a book of channelings collected by Thomas Prince from the same name, The Beloved Archangels Speak. And there's a chapter in
Mm.
there from Archangel Zadkiel. And I'm going to paraphrase this because can't remember the exact words, but there's a line in there that said, become the master of energy, do not allow the energy to become the master of you. It's something along those lines. And we went through all of that stuff years ago now. I can't remember what year we did that, Tim, but there's
I think
not a
that's 20,
single
21. Seems
2021.
like
I think
Yeah,
it
it
was
seems like
long.
a
I
lot.
would say it was long before that. I think it was pre all of that nonsense where we didn't go out for a while.
Might well have been. I'll have to check my
Yeah,
archives,
it
but
was a long time
it,
ago
it
anyway. But not a
yeah, yeah, it
single
was.
week has gone past since we did that where that
Hmm.
quote hasn't popped into my head. And, I will say to myself, I am the master of energy. Energy is not the master of me. And that reminds me that I am the creator of my world. I have a choice in what I take on. If I step into, if I go out to the shops to get some food and stuff or something like that, when I step into that environment with all of those people, because I'm very, Tim is as well, and a lot of you guys are very energetically sensitive people, that we go into these spaces, we feel these things. I make a choice before I step in there that I am in control of my energy, that nothing will affect me unless I allow it to affect me. And that is the same thing that has fueled my process through what we're going on now. As we're
Hmm.
going out into the world, I made a decision to step away from social media and stuff like that because it was, except for obviously what I share and things like that, of course, but from a personal consuming perspective, to step away from it because it was having an effect on my energy. I could sit and I could, as you say, doom scroll for 10 minutes, and then my nervous system was elevated for 6 hours,
Yeah.
and I had to make a decision. I was allowing that energy in and allowing it to have an effect on me, and I had to make that decision to, to walk away from that, to so that I could remain the master of my energy, to not allow that into my world, because it's my world and I can do with it what I want. Not to sound, selfish or egotistical or anything like that, but it is our reality and we create it with what we want, and it's our choice of what we allow in and what we block. And
Yeah.
just having that reminder in my head, hearing those words from Archangel Zadkiel, has been so profound for me. I'll still remember where I was when I read that line, and it was
Mhm.
like, it was really, really simple, but it was like one of those light bulb moments where everything clicked. And we have a choice.
We
In all
do.
of it, we have a choice. We just have to
This is
remember we have a choice.
absolutely. I mean, this is the thing that I've found over the years is that when you simplify everything, I mean, that is it's one sentence
Yeah.
and it encapsulates everything. Like you are the master, not the energy, the master of you, which has been one of the predominant lessons of the third dimension is to be a master of energy in its densest form, and which is why Earth has and still is one of the toughest places that you can incarnate on. And so here we are. The window is truly opening. It is open. We're stepping through, and tomorrow night, David and I are celebrating
Yes,
with
we
a.
are.
We are going to be doing what we do on the solstices and coming together for a very powerful workshop, which I am excited about. Can't believe it's here, but
No,
we're doing it
we're
tomorrow.
doing it. And there's a couple of really exciting things happening this year as a result of the changes. Do you want to tell us about that we've kind of both been fed different bits of information that unite together
Absolutely.
beautifully to form this? Do you want to talk a little bit about your
Absolutely.
experiences so far?
There is going to be, I'm not going to give too much away, but there is going to be an aspect of our heart centers that is being activated, not just the light field, but this is something that is happening within every human being that is incarnated physically here on this world, whether they are choosing to maybe later on step onto the ascension pathway or whether they are, committing themselves to continuing to learn at a third dimensional level, and those numbers are in a minority. But to be in existence on this world at this time means going through a specific aspect of a heart activation. But this is one as of that I've never seen the the quality of before. So we're going to be doing that. That's going to be what we're going to be walking through this gateway. It's beautiful, but not in, when we do this, people expect like, oh my God, my heart's going to blow up and all of this light is going to kind of like go absolutely everywhere, and I'm going to receive this. This is kind of almost taking us into a 0 point as we walk
Yeah.
through this gateway. And that's a very important energy that we're going to be carrying through into 2025. I've got an idea of where the timeline's going to be flowing next year, and of course, David and I will be talking about this before we kind of
Mm.
dive into the visualization to honor the December solstice. And what's coming through for you, David?
So I've been drawn back a lot to the expansion of the inner sun. So if
Mhm.
you joined us for the Lights Gate, you would have been with us for this expansion that you'll see. I've got it kind of visualized in the artwork behind me
Yeah.
here on the wall. That basically the inner sun of Telos. There was the Lemurian city of Telos that exists within Hollow Earth, the seventh dimensional plane within our world. There was this beautiful Agarthan sun that sat beyond it, basically fueled by the pure light of God that flew through. With the galactic alignment at the Lion's Gate, that sun expanded to a point that has surrounded our entire planet. And that what that did was it basically shared that purest light of God with every single person on this planet. The goal being to remind them at a deep, deep, like core soul level of their truth, that they are God, of that, that light within their hearts. And that has been a massive shift on this planet from triggering an awakening. And that's not a quick it
No,
doesn't just happen overnight, but that
no.
spark within them that we all carry has been reignited as a result of that expansion. What Melchizedek has said is that work is now done. This field that has been surrounding our planet since the Lion's Gate, it has fulfilled that role of triggering that awakening within the people. And now it's actually going to compress back down right into the center of our planet. And the way Melchizedek's described it is it's like a diamond. It's taking all of that energy, all of that God frequency that is still in the field, and compressing it down into an incredibly powerful source, which is going to essentially be a star, which is going to be existing within the very center of our planet, that just carries this purest light of God. And the reason for this is, so the reason we're going through an ascension right now is because the planet is going through an ascension. Tim was talking earlier about, keeping up and catching up as all of these energies and stuff come in. That's because the planet is ascending and we're trying to keep up with her. And until this point, she has relied on external energy sources, things like the Lion's Gate, like the solstices, where we have these massive waves of energy, solar flares, etc., to help fuel her process. And so we've been waiting for these bursts of energy to come in at various times so that she can step forward. Essentially, this star inside our planet is going to give the planet everything that it needs in order to accelerate its ascension at a rapid pace and have a continuous flow to do so. And of course, fuel our ascension process as a part of that. And I'm already starting to get inklings of what this is going to mean for us on an individual level. It's going to open up a lot more energetic opportunities for us as we move forward to be accessing this incredible new frequency that we can have available to us. It's a big shift that's coming. This is going to be quite a year. It really is.
It really is. And when you describe that, David, when you kind of look at it from that perspective, it correlates very much with kind of almost the pathway or the trajectory of kind of like the golden road that I'm beginning to see. I can't see it fully clearly yet, but I'm beginning to see where our first footsteps are going to land and the direction that we're going to be going in 2025. And I think as with everything that we've experienced is like our message is going to be expect something different, expect something
Yeah,
unique this year, because things aren't going to be the same anymore, and
yeah.
unless we choose them to be, and we refuse to shift the way that we look at things and the way that we see it and the way that we vibrate. But that's becoming increasingly difficult
Mm.
on this world. So
That is
um
so true, and I've seen that in quite a few messages that I've received recently, just to say that this world is not the world that it was 2 months ago. We are
no, no, no.
living in a completely different world, and it is really, really important that we shift our perspective to see that new world, to not expect things to be the way that they
Yeah,
used to be. Because if we expect it, that manifests in our world around us. If we expect something different, we will see the change at hand.
absolutely. So, my lovelies, David and I will be coming together with this presentation, this honouring of the solstice tomorrow night at 7 p.m. UK time, British winter time. It's very
Yeah,
dark out there still at the moment.
yeah,
It'll be dark when we sit down tomorrow night, won't it,
for
David?
sure,
So,
for sure. Only in here,
And
not out there.
yeah, obviously everything else is going to be very bright and very sparkly
Yes,
and very bright. So I'm genuinely excited about that.
me
The
too.
link to join us and dive in and celebrate with us is underneath this video, and we do hope that you'll choose to join us and dive on in with us. It's going to be a lovely, lovely session, and will leave us all glowing and very illuminated.
That's it. Exciting times are ahead, and we can't wait to share this with you guys, to come together, to celebrate, to help facilitate this massive change for our planet.
Hmm. A wave we will all feel.
Yes, without a doubt. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Tim, for
David.
allowing me to join you this morning. An absolute
Oh,
honour,
it's
as
an honor as
always.
always. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
and sending you
Sending
all
you all
so much love.
lots of love. We nearly said that at the same time then, didn't
Yeah,
we? Yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
unison.
7 o'clock tomorrow night. And of course, David and I have got other things that are going on. We'll also be talking about that. But for the
Mm,
time being, we are going to love you and leave you, and we will see you very soon. Bye
yes,
for now.
sending you all so much love. Bye bye.